Welcome back to the Grateful Grieving Podcast. I'm Betsy Furler, and this is my friend Katherine Dain. And we have had these amazing conversations on the phone and in person, talking about our grief as Katherine lost her husband of many years, and although she's a very young widow, and I lost my son Henry at the age of 22. So Katherine's about 3.5 years into her grief journey, and I'm about 5 years into mine. And we decided that we wanted to let everybody in on our conversation. So we started this podcast. So we're here on, you're probably watching us on YouTube or maybe on your favorite podcast channel once I get all of these downloaded there. But please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Grateful Grieving. Please also follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And hi, Katherine. So we are continuing our last conversation
Yes.
about making yourself happy.
Eternity. Yes.
Eternity, the movie Eternity, and
Yes.
and the importance of being happy. So to catch people up, on the last episode, we were talking about the movie Eternity and how the concept behind this is this woman who dies and she has to choose where to spend her eternity, and she has to choose the place, and whoever's there is there, and you can't change eternities and you can't travel back and forth. So she's trying to decide if she's going to the eternity with her first husband who died in a war when she was very young, or her second husband who she was married to for like 60 plus years. So, and kind of a theme through the movie, it's a comedy, but a theme through the movie is the idea of you have to decide yourself and you have to be in the place that makes you the happiest, um, which got us started on this topic. The other kind of cool thing about the movie that I didn't say last time is, and I still don't think this is a spoiler because for the audience, I didn't actually get to stay through the whole movie.
Or if they're our age, they'll forget.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that everybody shows up in this kind of purgatory area where the movie is
Yeah.
set as the time of their life where they were the most happy, the happiest, where they
Okay,
were the
yeah.
happiest.
Okay, so that's what I was
So,
going to say, because like at what point in my life have I been the happiest? Because I certainly have had happy moments through my life, and
right.
but I did not love being a teenager. At that was a very awkward time for me. And then my 20s, just wasn't very comfortable. And I think each decade I've gotten a little bit more comfortable with myself.
You
And
have
I,
definitely matured very nicely,
yes,
Katherine.
right.
So for the audience, Katherine
Yeah,
and I
can
have known
we?
each other since we were 18,
Oh
but
my
we weren't
God.
really friends in college. We were
Oh,
more acquaintances because we were
oh,
really different from each other in college.
oh my God. If you knew college me and high school me, oh my God. You definitely can grow up and change and become a little bit of a different
Completely different.
person.
Well, you're
Yeah.
not totally different,
No,
but
like my
yeah.
personality is pretty much the same. I don't know.
Hmm.
But I feel like over the years, um, each decade for me seems to get better. Don't kiss me. I think that even though I've suffered my greatest loss in my 50s, I think I've also had some of my biggest, uh, my such happiness. And some of it
Hmm.
was before Daniel died. Some of it was after Daniel died. Um, it, I think you're right. That has a lot to do with me and how I feel about myself.
I agree. And
Certainly.
I didn't like I didn't particularly love being a child. I had a good childhood, but I
Hmm.
didn't particularly like being a child. I love being an adult and being independent and being in charge of myself. And so childhood was like I was like, I mean, it was a good childhood, but it wasn't like that definitely like I would not be a 6-year old in heaven. So, um
Now I have to say, I did enjoy, we lived in the country in Canada. We were always playing, and And like I did love my childhood. Um, we moved to Texas when I was a teenager, and that was a bit of a culture shock
Oh yeah.
because it was suburban and we grew up in the country. Um,
And a totally different culture
yes,
overall. Yeah.
because coming to the US, and I know it was just Canada, but it's a foreign country. And
Right.
coming to the US from any country is a culture shock.
Hmm.
Um, uh, so, and I did that when I was 11. So it was that sixth, seventh, and eighth grade was a little tough. So I didn't enjoy that. And then,
Tough time of life
yeah,
anyway.
I got sent away to boarding school. I got kicked out of boarding school. I barely got into college. I barely got out of college.
Well, and for me, I had a really great we went to the best college on the face of
We
the earth,
did.
Austin
We
College in
did.
Sherman, Texas. Um,
Kangaroos.
Go Kangaroos, go Roos. And I loved being in college. I loved my college time, but I wouldn't say that's when I was the happiest with
No.
myself. I
Oh
mean, I
no.
also think that I think I'm coming into actually the happiest time in my life right now. Because this is the time when I'm able to really do the things I want to do. I'm doing a lot of creative work and right now, and I love that. And that really feeds my soul and makes me happy. And I haven't gotten to do this for quite a while. Now, I will say when I worked in summer camp during college, I was a crafts director and I loved
Okay. That would be
getting to be
fun.
creative and
Yeah.
helping other people be creative was super exciting to me. So I don't know. I don't know what
Um,
age I would be. I definitely wouldn't be a child though.
I think, and I would really have to sit down and sort of make a list, make some notes, but I think right now, this period of my life, because I love helping people. And with my therapist, we have put some boundaries up that I'm not allowed to rescue those who do not need rescuing. But but I do love when people ask me for advice, and you and I have done this with each other, where
Yes.
some of our phone conversations are you talking the whole time. Some of them are me talking the whole time. And then our back and forth ones. And I think that's so important to have people that you can do that with. And, when Daniel died, I had so many people that were there for me and they're still there for me. But I feel now I need to be giving back some, and which I do, like, not like I've been just taking for 3.5 years, but I do find like this week, especially, I probably did, you know, 30% of office work, and the rest of my time this week was with talking to people. Eh,
Which, yeah,
which I don't know, people want
yeah, I
my
like that.
input or maybe just to listen. I just listen to them with
Hmm.
you know, my sister-in-law called me. We had a great conversation this week. Okay, you can't, no kissing. He likes to kiss.
And so for those of you, if you're only listening to audio, Catherine's dog is
Oh,
on her lap. So
I'm sorry.
if you don't
Yes.
have the video
Yes.
um,
One of
context,
my one of my dogs. Actually, this is not my dog. This is the boyfriend's daughter's dog. And he likes to French kiss, and
he's clingy,
he
he's
is
needy.
clingy. But all of my dogs are needy. Anyway.
So, what were we talking about now? I lost
Oh
track
God,
of the.
squirrel. Let's go on to something else because I think
Oh,
we all
talking to people. So, and
yes,
I am moving into my era of not talking as much, actually.
to listening more.
No, to doing more work and more creative stuff and more
Okay.
head down.
Just not
Um,
conversations.
Not as much conversation. Yeah,
Okay.
I was in a huge conversation era, and
Yes.
then now I'm kind of like I am enjoying more solitude and more alone time around doing all this creation,
Yes.
but I do need I'm a super extrovert and I do need other people around me. So, but I've been
The
doing that by
novelty.
like
That's
a
okay.
novelty, like with my pickleball classes and my line dance classes. I'm around people, but it's like light social. And I was talking to a girl at the pickleball class. I was telling her about the line dance class actually. And I said, I like it because it's social, but it's not
Right.
intense social. So
Right.
that's kind of like the era I'm moving into
Okay. I
is
like that.
more work,
Yeah.
less conversation.
You can, it's why I like doing things like I like doing a puzzle with people because you're busy doing something while you're talking. So you're playing pickleball and line dancing, you're having a little bit of conversation. It's not completely shallow, but it like it's
Right.
just loose, it's light conversation, it's easy. And
Light. Yes.
and that's what we need. It's happy, it's nice. There's no
Yes.
drama, there's no tears, there no they like for me, if I was doing that, they wouldn't necessarily know that my husband passed away. They wouldn't necessarily know that your son passed away. That's not important. What's
Right.
important at that moment is to enjoy yourself and have a good time for the hour that you're there, the hour and a half that you're there, right?
Right. Right.
That helps us move
Exactly.
forward. It helps us move forward.
Right.
Um, Even if only just for that moment, it's that one step at a time. It's like microdosing. We're microdosing.
And
We're microdosing happiness.
I think it's also kind of needing connection without the heaviness of the grief all the time. That's
Yes.
kind of what I'm moving into now, 5 years
Yes.
down the road. I'm moving into, I need connection still, but I don't need the intensity of we're talking about my grief all the time or someone
Yeah.
else's grief. I mean, I love helping people through their grief too, but I need more downtime from that, I think, than I did in the past because I think I have worked on myself so much, gone to a lot of therapy, done a lot
Right.
of talking with friends, go journaling, watching YouTube videos, listening to books, all sorts of self-help things that I've been doing for this time period. And I'm kind of at the point, I mean, I think you're never done working on
Right.
yourself, but I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, I think I need to take a break from working on myself for a bit and
Okay. I
and
like the
let
sound of
myself
that.
work
Yeah.
on businesses and
Yes.
all this
Yes.
creative stuff that I'm doing.
Like give it time to settle
Yeah.
and then see. I was talking to a friend this week who had a major loss, and they're at a point right now where they talked the entire time and even apologized to me for being such a mess. And I said, don't you dare. Don't you dare
Hmm.
apologize. I said, you were there for me. And that this is my turn to do this for you. Don't think this is not a
Right.
burden to me. Yes, you're in a tough spot. No, I can't fix any of it except I can listen to you. And
And I
and
think
I
I like that better now too. Like I think now I'm kind of like, okay, I'm somewhat talked out. I mean, there are times where I'm like, okay, I've got to talk about the loss of Henry.
right.
But usually it's if I'm talking to somebody about their grief, now I feel well, you said it earlier, listening. Like I feel like listening is now what I can do. That
Yes.
like I can now listen and I can talk to somebody else about their grief with my perspective, obviously from my loss, but it doesn't have to be, I don't need to talk about my loss as much.
Right.
Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yes. Well, it was interesting when we started to do this, and one of my close girlfriends here said, do you want us to listen to this? And I said, well, of course, I'd love for you to listen to it, but you went through this with me. So you've heard
Right.
this, but I mean, of course I want you to listen. But it's interesting that yes, there were people there on the journey with us. And thankfully we have a big circle of friends that we were able to not burden just one person with it. And now we can be there for others as they're going through loss. And I mean, it's a terrible club to be in, but we all eventually get there. Whether it's a long-term illness or a sudden loss, or it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter
Hmm.
who or what it is. I've had a handful of people lately that have had to put dogs down. And we talked early on in our when we started this, that's can be just as devastating to a family that that dog has been, or cat or whatever it is, has been a part of their life for the last 10 years.
Yeah,
Um,
I had that this week. I mean, that was one of the things on Tuesday too. It wasn't my loss or even one of my people's losses, but good friend, um, their son and daughter-in-law had to put down their dog after and the dog was 16 and they're
oh,
young, they're in their late 20s, and so
that
that
dog grew
dog
up with them.
grew up with them, and
Oh,
that is so hard. And it didn't bring up my own grief, but it brought up, I felt so empathetic for
yes,
their loss of their baby because that is
yes,
their first baby.
yes,
And so that's really hard. I also
yeah.
when Henry died, right after Henry died, about a month later, our college friend Jeff contacted me, and I hadn't talked to him in years. And but he somebody else had told, and he's not on social media, but somebody else had told him that Henry had died, and his son had died 5 years before. So he was where I am
Oh,
now back then.
yeah,
And similar stories in some ways and very different in others, but he was and is such a huge help to me because he's 5 years ahead of me. And
yes,
now I'm 5 years ahead of a lot of people.
yes.
And that makes you able to talk about your grief in a different way and listen and not have grief as central in your life. I think that's part of it is grief was very central in my life for the first definitely for the first 2, 3 years.
One of the things that I've been working on, as we are constantly working on ourselves, and part of them, because I've read that this is an ADHD trait, is that like if you tell a story, I have to tell a similar story. And it's not that I'm trying to one up you, but you've triggered something in my mind that, oh my
Right. Yeah.
gosh, you went through that. So, oh, I did too. And I have this story. And thankfully, I started working on this before the grief that I've been helping with other people, because when I talk to people now, I have to, and not that I have to make sure, but I don't want their conversation to turn around and be about me. I've,
Hmm.
unless it starts as this is a conversation about me. If I'm talking with somebody else, I want their grief and their conversation to stay with them. I mean, I might throw something, I can't help it, throw something in here and there, but overall, let's focus on their needs. And I think that's big growth for me.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's I mean all those things are things like one of the things I'm grateful for the grief about is how much I have grown through it.
Yes, me too.
I Henry really died so I could live. My life is completely different
Yes.
now than it was 5 years ago. Completely different. I do live in the same house, but I've remodeled the house and redecorated the house. So, except for the fact that it's, the same physical structure on the same block, that my living space is different. I'm single now. I have a different dog. I drive a different car. My work situation is different. Every single thing in my life is different now. I'm playing pickleball. I'm line dancing. I'm like, there's so many things that I'm doing now that I didn't do back then. And I'm also I've grown emotionally, spiritually, mentally so much. And
Uh,
a lot of that was the push of the grief and
that's
not having
interesting.
Henry in my like
Yes.
physically here where I
Yes.
logistically had to deal with what he needed done all the
So
time.
that's interesting because you did, I mean, Henry's whole life, he was sick and there was always something. The last 12 years, 13 years of Daniel's life, he was sick because his first cancer he never truly recovered health wise from. Um, so I was constantly taking care of him. As you're doing everything different, I I thought this as you were saying that, and I thought, well, what am I doing different? I kind of am doing everything that I still did,
Plus a bunch of other stuff.
plus a but yes. Yes, like I still have people in and out of my house. I still have the business. I still have my friends. I still shoot my shotgun and go to sporting clay tournaments. I still exercise randomly. I still eat healthy some days, not others. Like it's interesting that I never thought of it that way, but so much of what I'm doing is sort of the same but different.
And I
Um,
think part of mine is because I got divorced and my other child went off,
yes,
he went off to college. And so I think that it was a radical change of the people in my life.
yes,
Not just Henry dying, but those other losses
yes, yes,
that I had to, it just made everything about my life different. And,
right.
the other thing, Catherine, that I think is because Henry died during COVID. And so our world was just shifting so much during that time
Yes,
period anyway,
right,
that
right.
it all kind of like, mushroom, what do you call that? Like, you
Imploded.
know, no,
I
I'm
know,
thinking
not
about
mushroom
like
blew up.
tumbleweed or
Oh,
whatever, like
I have no idea.
gathering, yeah, kind of like a domino effect
Okay, there you
maybe
go.
of
There you go.
all of these things falling into
Okay.
place at the same time to
Yeah.
really radically change my life.
Yes. Yes. I think probably, and you're at 5 years now, I'm at 3.5. And I think the next year and a half for me is going to be, there's a lot in the works. And there's just a lot, like my next year and a half to 3 years is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be
Um,
interesting to see where you are 5 years out,
yes,
like I am now, and how much
yes,
has changed in a year and a half from now.
yeah. There's a new Yeti cooler. Oh, it's blue camo. I'm sorry, I totally, speaking of changes.
Catherine has ADHD, people.
uh, I'm like, well, I have my phone set on silent except for one person, and that one person
Oh.
texts me, so I'm sort of
You
not
got
paying.
distracted.
Sorry, totally, totally.
So the other thing we were talking about that we can talk about for a few more minutes before we're out of time for this episode is this kind of idea of making yourself whole and happy
Yeah.
in order to be able to be there for other people. I think that, it's another lesson I've learned through grief is I needed to work through this in order to really be there for other people and to really be my full self
Yes.
again.
It's interesting. I, we all can very easily go, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to do that. And I've started looking at each situation. Like if my friends were doing family pictures out at our ranch property the other day. I went out there to sneak into a couple of pictures because I've adopted them as my family, and they are mean to me, so I must be part of their family. But then I was invited for dinner, and I said, "Oh, I'm kind of tired." And they're like, "Oh, you really need to come with us." And then I thought, I gave myself a moment, and I thought, I'm just going to go home and sit around because no one's at my house tonight. I don't care that I'm tired. I don't care. I'm going to dinner. And there were other people there, and it was a fabulous time. And then last night, the same thing. I was tired and I didn't want to drive across town. Okay. And for me, across town is 20 minutes.
Right,
I
right.
cannot tell you how awful that is for us in South Texas when we have to drive more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Um, but yeah, I'm not in the big metropolis of Houston. That takes 4 miles to go 40 or
Right. Yeah.
45 minutes to
Yeah.
go 4 miles,
Across town
where
could be two
yes,
hours.
yes, four
Yeah.
miles in Texas could take you 2 minutes if you do it right. Um, but I realized when I got there and spent time with her, with this friend of mine, she really needed me there. And I needed her too. And we had absolutely the best evening just hanging out. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm making sure that the things that are those meaningful times, I'm making sure to do. Now, if it's something where there's a huge group of people and it's like it's not that it's not meaningful, but if I have to choose something, I'm going to always default to the things that are a little more private and intimate with a smaller group, because that means more to me. I've also gotten really, really good at saying, oh my gosh, that sounds really great, but I'm not going to be able to go.
I
Um,
was going to say, I think boundaries
the
too
boundaries. Yeah.
around what you do and don't do, how you choose what you do and don't do, and how you evaluate, okay, what what is this going to steal from me and what is this going to give to me?
Right.
And what is the cost versus the benefit of this, whatever this activity is. I think that's super important during the holidays like in particular, but in life in general. But during the holidays, we just have so many things to do.
Yes. And slowing down and finding that connection with people, we need that. You know, my therapist has been encouraging me to write. And I'm a math brain and I'm scattered. I have a hard time. Never in my life have I journaled before, but in his very easy, subtle way, he's been pushing me to journal. And I finally started journaling. And it is the most random collection of writing that I've ever done, but it has been so good for me. And I had a reason why I talked about the journaling that had to do with being with people. Maybe it's just also centering me.
And also
Something,
I think it kind of brings up like what your priorities are and what you're really interested in doing.
well, and I think the other thing it helps with too is it lets me, like if I've got a frustration or something, I can journal that and write it out. And a lot of times I can then let it go. So I'm
Hmm.
not gonna, so when I call you and I just journaled for 10 minutes to get out all, I hate to say it out loud, but the crazy in my head, I get it down on paper and then it's not so bad. And it's not such a problem so that when I talk to you, then I'm not focused on that. I've
Right,
I've kind of let it
right.
go. So then I can either get to the heart of what it was, because oftentimes if I journal it, and again, I'm saying this like a professional journal person, I've only done this for like a month. I had to get a new stylus pen, and that took me 2 months. So it took me a whole long time to start. But it has really been nice to help settle me to where I don't feel like I have to burden other people with whatever, nut job thought I have going on at the moment,
And I
if that
think
makes
that
sense.
is an example of real self-care. So I get my lashes done, I get my nails, and we
Yeah.
both do a lot of that kind of
Yes.
self-care that people
Yes.
consider self-care.
Yes.
But I consider, like, I don't really consider, I mean, I guess it is self-care kind of, but what I consider real self-care are things like journaling, things
Yes.
like I consider movies self-care because it allows your brain to click off and
Do you
you're only
journal?
concentrated. I do. And I don't do it every day, but I am during this 30-day reset. I'm journaling.
Okay.
And I started journal. I mean, I've journaled on and off throughout my life. I've done gratitude journals, I've done regular journals. Right now I'm doing a journal where I have like 5 different areas, which I'm not going to be able to name for you right now because I can't
No.
think of what they are. But kind of it's a little focused. It's kind of focused journaling. And
Okay.
I actually do it on my phone. I do it speech to text on my phone.
Oh, see, I'm finding the actual writing
But sometimes the actual writing really
really,
helps me.
yeah.
In the time periods in my life where I really needed to process. See, I'm not in that processing time period right now. When I needed to
Um,
really process, writing made a huge difference.
Come here.
So, um, at one point I was dating somebody and I was having a really hard time wrapping my head around possibly loving somebody new. So
Yes.
around grief and a loss, because I was like, okay, I've lost Henry, right? Everyone who's in my life right now, I may lose or they'll lose me. I mean, either I will lose them or they will lose me. That's how life works. And but I can handle that because I already love them. So I'm not going to let people go because I don't want to lose them, because I
Right.
would lose them. So I'm okay with that, but bringing someone new into your life who you are going to
Yes.
lose, I was having a lot of issues around, like I was having a hard time letting my heart open. And so I was journaling, handwritten journaling on just random
Right.
pieces of paper, which he
Right.
unfortunately saw, but never said anything to me about it. So, but
Mine's locked
that,
down because mine's such an ADHD mess of there's like you talk about structure and five things. No, in one sentence I could go one run-on sentence I could go in three different directions
yeah.
and then start the next sentence and start writing the novel that I'm going to write and
Hmm.
write maybe three lines of that and then go back to okay, by the way, this was bothering me and I wrote this out, or I don't know what to do about this, or I need to make a list of the things I need to get next week, like, and that'll be in the journal. I'll never look at it
Right.
again, but I wrote it down and it made me feel better.
But you got out.
And
I mean, I think what I'm doing is helping me organize my thoughts and focus. And the
yes,
kind of journaling you're
yes,
doing right now is getting all those thoughts and feelings out of your head and onto a piece of paper.
yes,
Like it's kind
yes,
of, which is kind of the cool thing about journaling, is that there are all these different ways you can use it.
yes.
It's
I,
not
d-
a
I
it's not a
do.
one size fits all.
It is really helping me. My therapist today was very proud of me.
So on that note, Catherine, we're out of time again, believe it or
Okay.
not.
We might be
So,
limited today because it's Friday and I have a girls' night. Um,
oh,
we're going out to dinner and have a couple of drinks. We
fun.
have a we have a driver, so it will be
Oh,
more than a
nice.
couple of drinks.
Well,
Um,
I am I have a little BFF who's an 8-year-old, and she and I are going out to dinner tonight. So that's what
okay,
I
can
so
I
I have a girls'
say,
night too.
okay, so I have just turned 13 BFF, and we were talking the other day and about whether I could come to her birthday party because I hadn't gotten my invitation and I
Oh,
wasn't really invited because they're doing a sleepover. And I will say there's a good reason why I wasn't invited. I'm not doing sleepovers with
yes.
teenagers. Um, but she says to me, Aunt Kat, you've never come to my birthday. I go, excuse me? Like 3 years ago, I threw you a birthday party at my
That was so
house.
long ago.
2 or 3 years ago. It was so funny. Her mother was going, oh, please. Well, I raised her better than this. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I love that kid so much.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and I love that you have a little 8-year-old BFF now. This is how I feel about with my hockey kids
Yeah,
and
yeah.
with these boys in the house and the girls, like my first year hockey kid, my very first one, he's back here for Christmas because he lives in another country, so he can't go home for Christmas. So he's here. And so his girlfriend is here, and I just love her. And
She's
it
so
to me,
awesome.
my house is full of people, and and you're coming down too.
And I'm coming, so
Yeah,
we'll do some
yeah,
in-person
we
episodes.
will. All of these
So,
different people in our lives have really fulfilled. It has been really amazing.
exactly. And for me, had it not been for Henry's death, a lot of the people in my life would not be in my life right now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you and
so
I mean, we had started talking more, but the both of our losses really brought us closer together.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So perfect note to end on. So thank you everybody
Thank
for
you.
tuning in today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Grateful
We
Grieving.
appreciate it. We
Yes, we
appreciate it.
do. And
Yeah.
please watch of our friends. Please watch, share. Everybody share, comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about, or if you want to chime in on the conversation, we'd love that
Yeah.
too. And
Yep.
then follow us on Instagram and TikTok, Grateful Grieving.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Talk to you
Bye.
later.
Oh.